And there we go. So welcome to week 3, which is, I call Witness to the Miraculous and Embracing the Surreal. And we will talk about that in the second half of the class, but it's, as I was just saying, as people were logging on, that this is one of my favorite things to do with writers, and I'm really excited that you guys are giving me a chance to do it. So the first thing that I wanted to do is just check in and see how everybody's writing went last week. Some of you got a chance to post things that were just absolutely gorgeous. I haven't gotten a chance to comment on everybody's stuff, but I will get there eventually. But it's been so amazing to see the writing that you've been doing. And I want to just say to everybody, don't ever feel like you have to apologize for being late posting something. Post when you can. We're busy people, and if it feels exciting and good to you to put something in there, then go ahead and do it. And I was actually traveling all weekend. Then I thought of all of you because I went to visit my elderly father in upstate New York. And after we had done, this portal with looking at old photographs, I went to my father's condo for the first time since my mother passed away. And my mother, before she died, had gotten rid of all of the family photographs. And I don't know why. And so talk about embracing the surreal. I was just sort of like, wow, what do I do with this? And I thought about last week's portal and how important it is to be able to find a way to construct story for ourselves, even when the pieces are missing, how to fill in the missing pieces. And I think our minds are doing that for us all the time. I think it's kind of incredible also how, 4 people can see an event or even be in the same event together and have a completely different way of telling that story and of seeing it, that can make you feel as though they're like, it's like sliding mirrors, like what was real. And that's what I love about this class, is that we can really transform and shape the reality however we want to. And that's what we're really focusing on this week. So I would love to hear from all of you. Does anybody want to share anything that you wrote last week? Any ahas or insights about what you were working on? And if anybody wants to read, I love hearing that. Give me a minute.
I would read. I took a couple tries, I think, starts and stops, but I love having a weekly deadline. That helps me. And I wrote for an hour this morning. So
oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whenever you're ready, we're here.
Okay. Hopefully we'll keep it together. It's called The Training Wheels Are Falling Off. Most of the time I say gentle things to make people feel better. That sounds really hard, while solemnly nodding. This is what they call masking for people like me. A learned response you use because most people can't really accept you the way you are. When I'm masking like this for someone else's benefit, I'm probably pulling my lips over my teeth to bite my lips closed, as if the physical force can hold back the words I want to say. If they can't see me, I'm probably squinting my eyes closed too and twisting the hair from my widow's peak around my left pointer finger. I try to hold back because I've discovered that my default setting of truth telling usually has unintended consequences. I try to hold back because what I really want to say is fuck. We're all fucked. And all we can do some days is stay alive. Stay alive. It's all we can do some days. I was counting on those training wheels, The extra wheels were guides that felt invisible until I bumped up against the boundaries. And with a small jolt, they would push me back on track and I would feel safe again. But kid bikes with training wheels aren't popular anymore. The new thing is called balance bikes, where instead of extra wheels, the toddler gets 2 wheels, but no pedals and no brakes. Sounds like an accident waiting to happen, doesn't it? maybe it doesn't really matter because no bike is a match for a lifted F350 with a "you die first" grade on the front. To be perfectly honest, keeping my toddler alive has become a mural painted over the gray matter in my brain. It's a bit like the rolling credits of a movie, but it's a frightening combination of childhood mortality statistics, climate science, and life experience. The ironic thing that I learned about balance bikes is that they're safer than training wheels. When you learn balance before you learn speed, you build a stronger core first, which results in more control over the bike. I have a little more. Should I keep going?
Yes, please.
My first experience of grief was the first time the training wheels fell off. I was free falling through life, dazed and confused, numbed into silence. I was 19 and it was my first big loss. My lovebird's fragile green wings and tiny gray feet had become immobile from the gout. The dorm wouldn't allow me to bring him to college in my absence. His health deteriorated. It was my sister who called to say that something was wrong with Sky. He couldn't stay on his perch. She drove me to the vet so I could hold him in his favorite spot, against my chest. We have a photo from that vet visit. I don't remember bringing a camera along, but we must have. My sister snapped one grainy picture of Sky with his eyes closed, snuggled against my neck. We were waiting for the vet to return, and I was scratching his neck just the way he liked it before his final moments. Most people would probably hide a picture like that away in a shoebox in the closet, but I framed it and kept it in my room. As I walked out of the vet clinic with a white cardboard box and a tiny Ziploc of colorful feathers in my hands, it was jarring to me that the people walking across the parking lot had no idea what had just happened. I realized that the grief you carry becomes a secret. Even if people hear about the loss, the grief stays your secret. I have to warn you though, grief may be silent, but it's deadly. It wasn't until I turned to grief as a physical practice, yoga for ecological grief to be precise, as weird as that is, that I began to let my grief become something other than a secret. These days, I have a growing list of things that I grieve: friends, pets, the career I thought I would have, the nephew I never saw alive, the sister who is alive but I've somehow lost, the summer camping trips lost to wildfires, the snowboarding seasons lost to insufficient snowfall, the loss of a normal future, the loss. Any of these topics can send me right back to my yoga mat any day of the week. I can't help but wonder if grieving the loss of a, quote, normal future has gone global. I don't know what 2050 looks like anymore, but the glimpses of death and tragedy keep painting little pieces on the mural in my brain. For most people, most of the time, this kind of grief upending our world is simply unspeakable. It must remain a secret, shoved in a shoebox in the closet, because if it's not, that would mean we have to face the truth. And if we face the truth about the world we're living in and what we've done to it, this precious and burning world, we have to both accept unpredictable change and continuously change ourselves. Nobody likes change. I don't really like change either, but I can't mask for myself when I look in the mirror. Everything up until 2020, that was all training wheels. The training wheels are gone, whether we like it or not. The way I see it, we have two choices every day: stabilize your core or risk more injury. This is really the only good thing about grief. The skills transfer somehow. Unfortunately, it becomes less deadly if you're willing to look it in the face. We have to speak the secrets out loud because we're fucked. And the some days are here. The some days are here when all we can do is stay alive.
Oh, Barbara, thank you.
It's the first time I've written about grief, so.
Mm.
I'm gonna sit with it.
I'm just
Sit with
gonna
it and think about putting it out in the world.
tell me what it felt like to spend an hour moving through these ideas, through these images, through. the grief?
I mean, I cried a lot, but it was very releasing.
Mhm.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels better to put those puzzle pieces together than to leave them scattered.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I really struck me as you were reading, is that I felt as though um, you sort of, it began with this very big concept, and as you worked your way through, sifting through all the layers of grief and the imagery, I felt it all kind of braiding together. There was so much movement to your words and so much movement to the piece. And I loved the way at the end you really brought us back to that very grounded place. It ended for me in a question. It ended in a question that also felt like an answer. And it felt really grounding to be in that place with you. It's the only way that I can describe it. For me and my body, as I listened to it, it felt like a sifting. It felt like almost like, turning the pages of a book, or that shoebox, sifting through photos, like moving through a life.
Mhm.
And some lines that I quickly jotted down. I think I got this right, like a mural painted over the gray matter in my brain. And I'm so
Mhm.
curious, tell me more about that.
Oh,
If you feel like it.
yeah, it's like I don't know, a little bit like the ticker on CNN running, but images,
Mhm.
um, images, statistics, that kind of thing. It can be hard for me to focus because the mural's coming together and the ticker tape's running.
I really got that. The other one that got me is, um, and now the grief you are carrying has been a secret. I don't know if I got that line. The grief you've been
Mhm.
carrying.
Yeah, that it instantly becomes a secret and it's your grief.
Mhm. That I really, really responded to that. For me personally, it felt truer than true, because I think that we all do carry grief in a way that makes it very difficult. Even if someone can tell you that they understand, it's so personal and so specific that it's hard to share. Cheryl.
Where that really became vivid for me is the scene with the bird, where the bird is being carried out in a little bag, and no one, and people are coming in and having no idea of what just happened. This catastrophic thing happened, and it's held, and others don't know about it. And that, for me, seemed to really illustrate thematically what this piece was about. It's like in my brain, and plus I've had the experience, so it really resonated with me. It was just a really powerful piece of writing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else that have anything they want to share about how that landed on them? Oh, Barbara, I'm so glad that you read it, and I'm so glad that you had the space to do it. And it
The
feels
2-year-old.
like a doorway opened.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful, beautiful piece, and I would love to see, I'll be curious to see what more you decide to do with it. If it's the beginning of something, if it's a complete piece in its own, or if it's just there living outside of you finally, and not so much of a secret anymore. Beautiful piece.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I'd definitely be willing to edit and submit it somewhere.
Does anybody else have anything they want to read tonight? Okay. All right. We'll give it time. And, you know, part of what I really want to get out of our sessions together is to give you some time to write too. So we're going to be doing some more of that tonight. Because it's I think so hard for a lot of us to carve out the time. So let's dive into this week's theme. I don't know how this this idea came to me, except that I have always been fascinated with Votos. Has anyone ever seen Votos before? Do you know what they are?
Mm-mm.
Okay, this is some good stuff. So for me as a writer, I've always been fascinated with this idea that there are certain things that we experience in life that just you can't find words for, that are so surreal, that are so like out of the ordinary, that the language that we usually use to communicate just isn't enough. Do you know what I mean? Where, well, like when you say to somebody, it was so surreal, or you're not going to believe this, or I don't even know how to explain it. And literally there are times when words just fail us. And so I've always been fascinated with sort of those liminal spaces where words just fail us, when we can't seem to find a way to communicate the bigness of something, or the strangeness of something, or the sadness, or even the elation, you know, that something is so like hilarious that we can't even find a way to communicate that. And so one of the things that I started doing as a writer is, and my grandparents were both artists. My wife is a professional painter. I have a lot of artists in my life, and I am the curator of this magazine. So I'm very fascinated with how we create story with imagery. And so I just got in the habit of, when I couldn't find a way to describe what had happened, where I would draw a picture of it, just like when I was a little kid. Because I found that it helped me to get at aspects of story that I couldn't find otherwise. So tonight, I'm going to be showing you a particular way that people have communicated stories that are surreal, that are bizarre, that are miraculous, that are death-defying throughout history. And we're going to see if we can play with doing this tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me see. Slideshow. There we go. So Votos are basically images that, and I'm going to skip through and show you. This is an photo. Okay. These are made to basically date back to Mesopotamia, where people would hire an artist to depict an event that had happened in someone's life. There are several elements to them, and hang on just a moment because I'm going to go back. Ex voto means from the vow made, officially, and basically they're images that are offered to a saint as a way to thank a saint for answering their prayers. The Catholic ex votos are a vow where they vow to give public thanks to a particular saint if they averted a disaster. So if there's something miraculous that happened, they will commission an artist to depict this and include the saint in the image. In Mexico, they're called retablos, and they also go back to Italy in the 15th century. Typically, they depict recovery from health, survival from an accident or surgery, but really almost anything that you can think of. And you'll see in the ones that I've included in here, there are a lot of different ways that people have depicted things. So they're usually small. They're about this big. So like less than shoebox sized, like you can see in my hands, like that. Okay. It illustrates a tragedy, a grave illness or injury, or a difficult event. It includes the miracle or saint that intervened to save the person, and a description of the event, which is usually written across the bottom of the image. So in this one, what's so fun to me about these, and I actually have a friend who used to collect these, had an entire collection of these that he had collected from Mexico, from Spain. But in this one, what do you think? Anybody have any guesses about what's happening here? I can't read what it says at the bottom because it's too faded. But it looks to me like someone was in an accident. She's got her head all wrapped up, right? And then we've got the Virgin Mary up in the top left. I don't know who that would be. Does anybody know who the saint would be to the right of Jesus on the cross? I'm not Catholic, so I don't know.
No.
You
But
neither.
what does that man have on his lap? It looks like an instrument to me.
Yeah, so it looks like the man is the doctor who's writing out what happened.
Oh,
And it's
right.
like he's sitting
It's like
at
a little table.
Yeah.
got it.
He's sitting at a desk. There's a woman attending to him, and it looks like he's kind of, I think what's interesting is if you can see his expression, he's sort of looking up in the corner, like he can see these saints
Uh-huh.
who have helped him. In the next one, these women have been held up at gunpoint, right? And it's the day is the 15th, June 15th, 1942, and two sisters, Rosa and Carmen Ruiz, were going for a walk in the street. They were coming back after the market, and a man with a pistol. But fortunately, the Virgin of San Juan de los Lagos, so St. John of the Lakes, intervened. Something about their purses. Does anybody else read Spanish?
Mm-mm.
Something about their money, but basically
Yeah, it's like he arrived so they didn't get killed, and he took their purses.
Yeah. And then for all of this, we give thanks in this retablo.
Mhm.
Okay. So these are done on tin. Often they're painted on tin, which is why they last so long. Senor Juan Velasquez. This one I'm having a hard time, but you can see, oh, it looks like he was drinking and he fell asleep on the tracks. And someone came and rescued him. And I don't know any ideas who the saint would be up in the top left? I love the way he looks, though. It's a great outfit.
You
So
look more like Roman.
I know, it's a fun one. I love it. Here's one where it doesn't do a whole lot of writing. It's from 1911, it looks like. Shipwreck. Okay. Looks like the Virgin Mary again. Guillermo Estrada. Well, so anyway, we can just look at it. It's a tractor fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they prayed to Guadalupe. This is the 24th of October, 1946. I love the drama of the flames shooting out of the tractor. I think that's amazing. Ooh, this one is good. I love this one. Leonardo Muniz, I think, 14th of October, 1914 in Catania. That is a bad accident. Can you see those pictures?
Mm-hmm.
I think what's incredible about it is that if you look at this, like you really get a sense of that room and like the bowls and the, like if you can almost, it feels like what it must have felt like to be in that room. Here, this one, the translation is, O Virgin of Guadalupe, thank you for granting me the good fortune of becoming a mother after 7 years of marriage without being able to have children. From Epifania Gomez, Iztapalapa, Mexico, 1933. A lot of people pray to the Virgin Guadalupe for fertility. This one is one of my favorites of all time. I just love this. Bats invaded Carlota Valdez's house and flew over her bed at night, and they filled her with nightmares and their dreams. She feared they could be vampires and would suck her and her cat's blood, and they would be converted into the living dead for all eternity. Very worried, Carlota prayed to Saint Quiteria for protection. The saint worked a miracle for her. The bats left to live somewhere else, and Carlota gives thanks with this altarpiece.
Look at how the saint is holding his or her head. Wow.
Awesome.
I think that's where the bats went to live.
Wow.
The bats came out of her.
They went to live in the bloody body. That's what I'm getting.
I mean, I love the all the arms up in the air. The cats even got the arms up in the air.
Well,
it's amazing. I love that. Let me move this. Can you see?
That's Stephanie, like, you had to be there. I'm going to draw it for you.
Right? That's part of what I love about these is like, yeah, like this is so bizarre. Like here. And I love that there's the little chamber pot below too. This is a good one. When we were newlyweds, Elisa was very jealous of everything. And the day of our wedding, she made such a drama that after the banquet, she died of indigestion. After 3 years, I met a pretty and good girl who I married. And during our honeymoon, the ghost of Elisa appeared in our bedroom and was very angry and was looking at us. I prayed to the Virgin of Zapopan, Our Lady of Expectation, and she appeared. And now we can sleep in our home without being afraid. Amazing. Like just amazing. I love all the details of like the shoes underneath the bed. That Elisa is still dressed in her wedding dress. Amazing. Here is Senora Luz Maria Fernandez. She was angry with her son and pulled and partially tore his ear off. She prayed with great fervor to Saint Charbel, healer of body and soul, that she would entrust herself to him for several months and promise to make amends.
I would hope so.
Right?
Woo.
Yeah.
It almost looks like he's shrugging.
Like, what am I going to do?
What do you want me to do?
Oh, and the poor little boy. I mean, it's awful. The look on her face. Here's another good one. The other night, my boyfriend came into my bedroom through the window because my parents do not want him, but suddenly became because they heard our noise. I dedicate this to San Ramon Nonato, who made the miracle that they did not realize that my boyfriend was hiding behind the bed and believe the story that it was my cat that made the noise. Tale as old as time.
These are amazing.
Do you love them?
I do.
Yes.
Do you see now why I'm
I do,
obsessed
yeah.
with them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean-
and I'm wondering, are you thinking we're gonna do this?
Yes, we are. No, not, I'm thinking we are. We actually are doing this tonight.
Like with this kind of okay,
Yes.
okay.
And I'm telling you, I've done this myself many times, and not only is it entertaining, what I love is that it really opens up all kinds of channels.
I think you should show us one of yours.
Oh my gosh, I think I have one in the closet. I'll look for it. I'll do one with you tonight anyway.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay, let's see. This one is a newer one done on felt. In April 1995, I fell in a spine in my eye. And thanks to the Virgin of Dolores, Maria Yanez cured me from blindness. So that's a more modern one. Here's one. I'm not sure when this is. I love this one. I was quick to anger and to shout and argue. This affected my husband, and therefore my marriage was being threatened. I thank the Virgencita of Zapopan, who gave me the idea of channeling my anger into a pair of knitting needles. Now, when I feel that I'm getting angry, I run and grab the fabric and start knitting furiously. I have already knitted sweaters and scarves for the whole family and for cats and dogs, and I'm still knitting and weaving. Thanks to this, now I can be sweet to my husband and my family almost always.
This may be the most like honest and like visual representation of women's anger that I have ever seen ever.
Isn't it incredible? Yeah. I love the fact that there's yellow wallpaper. I just have to say, I never noticed that until now. But if anybody knows the short story, The Yellow Wallpaper,
Mm-mm.
you don't know it? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to, all right, I'll pull that up for you.
Okay.
One of the earliest examples of surrealism in women's fiction. I can't remember who the author is, but just if you just Google The Yellow Wallpaper. And it is an incredible look at women's anger, and also like 19th century, the times when hysteria was, women were constantly being treated with hysteria. It dates back to that time.
It's very good.
Yeah. Do you know it, Rob?
I read it a long time ago, but it stuck with me. Something about it. It's very well done. It's very, I don't know. It stuck with me. Something about it.
Yeah. It has a way of doing that. I will actually, it's actually perfect for this week. So I will add it to the class lessons. So you can read it there. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, the dogs and the cats with the knitting. Oh. So now, Frida Kahlo also used rotablas herself. She used this style herself in a lot of her paintings. And if you know Frida's work, here is a self-portrait that she did at the border between Mexico and the US. Many of her paintings are done in this style. What I love about her work is, of course, it includes, down in the bottom left, all of these incredible botanical depictions. And Frida suffered miscarriage, many miscarriages, and so often you will see those in her work. The botanical elements often represent, fertility and grief and the body, but you can see throughout that grief is there in this one. And I love this quote from her. I paint self-portraits because I am the person I know best. I paint my own reality. And this one I love, of course. I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in a field somewhere and don't notice it. And that is sort of the theme for this week, is we need to stop and notice. And so we're going to be drawing tonight. You're going to be making a rotabla of a scene from your life. And after seeing all of those, it might help you to think about which moment might work. Let me pull up. I stopped.
So we're
sharing.
supposed to think of an event from our life where all turned out okay, and because we prayed to Saint so and so,
Well, I don't think we need to
or
take
all's well that ends well, or
all's well that ends well. And so you don't
Mhm.
necessarily need to say that you prayed, but maybe there was a person who intervened in your life. Maybe there was something miraculous that happened or surprising. Maybe it was you who saved you. Maybe it was just, like there are all kinds of ways in which we get saved, and they don't have to be as literal as something like praying to a saint.
Mhm.
But if you look, I'll pull up. So basically, I'll put this in the chat. The elements include a scene illustrating the tragedy, okay, or an illness or an injury or a difficult event. The miracle or saint that intervened. Now, you don't have to take it that literally, but think about what that might be. Could be a person. And the description of the event, usually written across the bottom of the image. So you might need time to just think about what that would be. And that's what we're going to do for the rest of tonight. Is you might need to take some time to just write out some like major, larger than life events in your life, and then pick one of them. And it could be something small too. I mean, if you look at it, right, there are some of them where it was like bats flew into the house and they were scary, and it doesn't all have to be death defying. Do you feel like you know where you're headed? Shall I let you go? Any questions? All right, let's go. Feel free to unmute yourselves if you have questions, or send me a little chat, but otherwise have fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Now remember, these pictures don't have to be fancy. So take another few minutes, color things in, write the description across the bottom, and then we'll do some sharing. All right. Give yourself another 30 seconds. Tie up any loose ends, knowing that this is just a rough draft. And clearly from looking at these, you don't have to be a super fancy artist. How did it go? Anyone want to share?
Yeah, I'll share mine.
Yay.
I couldn't find my coloring stuff. This house is a disaster.
It's okay.
So, but this is really neat. I'll read it to you first. So the bottom part I wrote, a few years ago, my dad fell from a ladder while trimming the shrubs. Because of the subsequent medical scans, the doctors found his kidney cancer in time to treat it.
Mm.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh,
It's
I
a
love that.
miracle.
Yeah. True story, too. It was crazy.
Totally like perfect example of like what should be on a Rotopla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing it, Rob.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I can share.
Scott?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I'll just show it first. Don't know if you can see it.
Ah,
I was working in my workroom and a saw skipped and went into my hand and partially severed a tendon.
ah.
And so all it says is, I cut myself with a handsaw and thankful it wasn't worse. And then I looked up the patron saint of woodworking, and that's Saint Wolfgang. So
Awesome.
That's amazing. Wait, can you hold it up one more
Okay.
time? Just so you can see. Saint Wolfgang.
yeah.
That's awesome.
I like
Love
it.
it.
I'll
Thank
share
you.
mine.
Who's next? Barbara, let me put
Yeah.
you.
Well, here we go. Is that a good view?
Yeah.
In 2005, I was working at a summer camp where I trained horses and kids to ride them. One day when I was working with the young horse, he bit my arm. Without thinking, I punched him in the face. Many of the people I was working with saw, and I became instantly feared by all the young men especially. Saint Sebastian must have worked his magic on one of them. One of them, Sam, had initially feared me, but through the gift of courage from Saint Sebastian, he later became my husband.
Yeah.
That's great.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I got chills on that. Part of what I really noticed, Barbara, is the way that you really took on the cadence of the Rotoplas and the way that they're told, sort of, but thanks to this and thanks to that. Fantastic.
That's fun.
Thank you. Who else?
I was sorry, I thought I was unmuted. I didn't really write it down very well, but I can paraphrase.
Okay.
But here's it's a pretty wild picture.
Oh.
You can see that.
Mhm.
So
Good.
I'm saying that when I was in 7th grade, my brother's friend, I'll call him St. Douglas Stevenson, came to grab me from my friend's house because my brother and their other friend decided to drink beer through a funnel all throughout our house and on the roof, and they used a Playboy like poster and they put it through her. I mean, just like crazy stuff. My parents were just in New York City for dinner and a show. And so Doug helped me clean up and helped me write a note that said that it was the Hungry Man dinners that made them both sick. And that's why they were in bed and why the house smelled like vomit. And my parents believed it.
So who was the saint, you or Douglas?
No, I think it was Douglas. I was calling him Saint Douglas because he was like the mastermind, like, you got to come, you got to help me clean up, and we're going to write this letter. And then he wasn't even there, you know, like there he is, like putting everything in the garbage can. And
Oh my God. I love how much you got done in like such a short amount of time.
No kidding.
yeah, it was such a crazy scene. And it was that one about the, you know, we were making our noise and my parents believed that it was the cats.
Right.
That's anyway, that inspired me.
It's the theme
I
perfect.
love it. Thanks, Brett.
Yeah.
Who else?
I think I'm the last.
Yeah. And I can
So,
go too.
here's my picture.
Okay, let me spotlight you.
This is hard to see, but it'll get explained.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with a rare appendix cancer. In a surgery, they'd done a stomach wash and found cancer cells, so they had spread. During a meditation that I had learned, I asked a cancer cell to present itself, and I witnessed a change in my abdomen. And these words were spoken: "We are united." In the next surgery that I had, no cancer cells were found in my abdomen. So thank you, Mary, and Saint Peregrine, who is the patron saint of cancer.
Wow.
Oh,
True story.
True story.
Woo! Wow. Can I see the picture again?
Yeah. So I'm meditating in a chair,
Yeah.
and this, what I saw was a dome.
Uh-huh.
And in the dome, all of the cells had come in and were lined up evenly, and each one had a dot in the center. So I don't think that's that clear.
Yeah, I can see it.
mhm.
Saint Peregrine.
Yep.
I'll remember that. Cheryl, that's my kind of miracle.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Have you written about this? Another way?
Actually, I'm in my memoir that I'm writing. It is part of it.
Okay, good. Well, part of what this whole reason that I did this is, I also have to say, as someone, I've had so many surreal experiences in my life,
Mhm.
that I needed some way to get them down in a way that made sense. And so because I loved Rotobulus so much, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start depicting these in this way, and see each thing instead of as totally tragic as kind of miraculous.
Mhm.
And I found that by doing this, by creating a 3D depiction of life events, that it gave me insight into my stories in ways that I hadn't seen before. I was able to kind of step up and outside, and to see it from above. And I have continued to use this practice. I will draw something out. I will tell it in this very sing-songy way. Oh, should I show you mine?
Mhm.
Looks like, can you see it? Do I have to do the spotlight thing? Speaker. Spotlight. Okay. So here's my picture. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it says, I was at the airport in Guayas, Brazil, with my dog when I learned that I would need a visa for the dog to return to the United States. I didn't have a visa for the dog, so I had to drive 2 hours back to the small town where I lived. It was 2 a.m. and the airport had closed for the night. So I prayed to Archangel Michael, and suddenly out of the darkness, a taxi appeared. When I reached into my purse to pay the taxi driver, I saw that I had been robbed. The taxi driver said, "Eu tenho faith em você. I have faith in you." And he drove me 2 hours home in the dark, 28th November, 2012.
Wow.
And there's my little dog barking
Mm-hmm.
in his carrier. So it's mine. So this week, what I would like you to do is I want you guys to reflect on the surreal moments that we have in life and to allow yourself some room to play. Think about action movies that you've seen, you know, like Marvel movies. Think about mythology. Think about fairy tale and the fact that, you know, like animals can, you know, save humans, or that humans can take on animal qualities. And I want you to have some fun kind of playing around with this idea that you can use surrealism to write one of your stories. One of my favorite authors who does this is Carmen Maria Machado. Carmen's in my writing group, and Carmen is phenomenal. And her book, Her Body and Other Parties, is a great example. And also her memoir, In the Dream House. You can even see from the picture. In her memoir, uses a lot of surrealism to tell her stories about domestic abuse. Because sometimes the things that happen to us in life, like I said, normal language doesn't suffice. And so this week, I want you to give yourselves room to play. You can choose to depict a scene and turn it into a fairy tale if you want. You can make it the same story, but with mythological properties to your story. Give yourself some room to play. I will add the yellow wallpaper to class because that gives you, this one is a short story that feels like it could be true. So that's your assignment.
Great.
And if it helps, you can draw another retabla as you do it. I put links to Frida Kahlo's retablas or ex votos in class. But that's your assignment, or portal, I'll say. Any questions? Have fun. Have fun, see how it goes. Feel free to post pictures in the community because I love seeing what you're doing. Cheryl, I looked at your, by the way, I saw your comment. I wanted to write back and I was traveling. I don't know why your photo didn't show up, but I clicked on the title like you said and it didn't show. So
No, I know. Well, I don't know what I did.
it's okay.
Mercury was in retrograde.
It
so
was, it's finally out. We're 3 days
That's what I'm
out.
calling it.
Yeah.
I
That is
don't know
totally
I don't know what I did.
It's okay.
Well,
Well,
I
it
was able to post the piece, but not the picture.
yeah, that's fine. And in some ways, that's all that matters, right? I mean, it's the story that really matters. So thanks guys for being here tonight and for having a little fun with this. And have a great week. And you can always send me an email if you have any questions, but I will see you in the community and I will see you next week.
Okay.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.